I'm going to embarrass you a little bit now, Alexa, so I'm going to offer you some compliments. And it's okay. I've thought this through.
Oh no.
The thing is, there's certain skills and attributes you have as a person and a musician that I think anybody, irrespective of what genre of music they specialize in, irrespective of what instrument they play, can learn valuable lessons from. They're kind of universal good skills to have. So I'd like to unpack them a little bit. So I'd like to start with this. I've always really admired how focused and driven you are. You're one of those musicians who you kind of get up and no matter what the task is, whether it's a practice day, whether it's a rehearsal day, whether it's a concert day, you're focused, you're driven, you're in that positive frame of mind to give it your best. Now, that's not a given that that's going to be your default position. Because let's be honest, being a musician, working in the arts, it can be tough, you know, physically, mentally, financially. So let me ask you, what keeps you focused and motivated to be like that every day?
I think it's the desire to always be better than I was the day before. Even if, there are some days where I don't succeed at that, but and not necessarily better at saxophone or at jazz or at music even, but just to, in general, be moving forward and improving and growing in some area. Because I do believe that, now as a professional musician outside of school, I do believe that, life experiences really contribute to our artistry and what we want to create and what we want to say with our art. So even if there's a couple days where I can't, get to that type of practice that I want to get to, but if I'm able to get out into, some fresh air and or connect with someone I haven't connected with in a long time, or spend a little time brainstorming a writing project, then it's worth it. So the desire to just always be moving forward is really, I think, the goal. And I'm always trying to be kinder to myself, in terms of if I don't meet certain measurable objectives. I often set, pretty high goals for myself, and it's not always possible to achieve everything in one day. But yeah, it's a balance of wanting to always move forward, but then also trying to be present.
And do you find, is that something that has got easier for you with time and experience?
No, it's not. I wouldn't say it's something that gets easier. I would say it's like you just get more comfortable with the discomfort of like not always, being where you want to be, or, not that I'm ever it's maybe comfortable isn't the right word. Cause I wouldn't say that I'm one of those people, like I'm really not happy being unhappy, or I'm not happy being, unmotivated. Like if I'm not feeling like I'm myself, I'm really unhappy about it. I can't really sit with that, but I think it's like short game versus long game. So I think if you have the long game in mind, you can allow yourself some grace with some of the twists and turns. So maybe the answer to your question is a little bit yes and a little bit no. I think with time, it might get a tiny bit easier. And with the experience for me, I'm always if I'm not on my game, I'm never like any less or more unhappy than I was the day before. It's just a blanket, like, this isn't working for me, I need to fix it, So it's a back and forth.
I like that. I also, you touched on something there that I think I'd just like to kind of tease out a little bit, because it's a really important point. This idea that I don't think I'd be very concerned if anyone came out of a practice session or a recording session or whatever it is and thought, yeah, I've nailed it. There's nothing I could do better than that. You know, that I don't think that's a healthy position to be in as a musician. And you're right, you've got to kind of view it in that kind of long view and also understand that things can scale. You know, at the end of the day, you might think, well, I didn't achieve everything I wanted to do today, but you're a fraction of a percentage better than you were in the morning. And if you roll that out over a month, that's quite a big percentage better. And you roll that out over a year, and it scales and builds. And I think that's exactly the way to look at it. So I'm really pleased you mentioned that.
Yeah, I agree with you definitely. It's all about the small movements.